Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be bringing you another showdown video. We do have a showdown slate for Thursday Night Football between the Jets and the Browns. Going to do just like we did last week in last Thursday's showdown video. Just talk about this game, talk about roster construction on DraftKings, how we can construct our lineup. I'll talk about some of the guys I feel like I'm going to be pretty heavy on this showdown slate. Something I want to do in this video and in my showdown videos going forward is definitely talk about roster construction. Just kind of show you guys how you can construct a lineup for this showdown slate, especially with the captain, how you want to use your captain, which guys you want to play in your captain spot. Just show, like, if you go expensive at captain, what it allows you to do. If you go cheap at captain, what it allows you to do. We'll be sure to do that in this video. Hopefully this video goes a little bit better than last week's. I know last week I really whiffed on the showdown last week. Played a lot of the running backs, Alex Collins, Joe Mixon, and that did not work out. AJ Green, Dalton were like the two guys that had the big games. Definitely lost some money on last week's showdown slate, but I feel like we can get things back on track here for this game. But before we do get started, guys, would really appreciate it if you would drop a like. That's the only thing I ask. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. If you missed my NFL Week 3 video, I did upload that on Tuesday, right after I'm uploading this late Tuesday. Uploaded the NFL video Tuesday morning, so we'd really appreciate it if you would check that out if you're planning to play NFL DFS on Sunday. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this showdown game between the Jets and the Browns. So I feel like this game is going to be pretty low scoring. I thought last week's game was going to be low scoring. That really wasn't the case, but this game I have a good feeling is going to be low scoring. It only has a 39 total right now as I'm recording this video. The Browns are 3-point favorites. This game's going to be low scoring. It's going to be all about the defenses. I feel like if I had to predict the score of this game, I'd say the Browns win like 20-17 or something like that. Don't think we really see a shootout here, but we can still play this showdown slate even though this isn't going to be a high-scoring game. Just kind of try and look at what guys we want to play. Tyrod Taylor and Jarvis Landry are the two guys that really stick out up top. They're the two most expensive on this showdown slate. Taylor's $11K if you play him in flex. Landry's $10,800 if you play him in captain. Taylor's $16,500 and Landry is $16,200. I think you definitely want to play one of these two guys in your captain spot, at least like if you're playing like cash games. I know I don't play these showdown slates for cash. Like I don't play cash in these. I play tournaments. I'll still have Taylor and Landry in a lot of tournament lineups in captain. They're definitely guys you could consider for cheaper in your captain spot, especially if you think it's going to be like a low-scoring game. If there's one guy like we saw Sunday night, Tavon Austin, he only got like 2 catches, but one of those catches was like a 60 or 70-yard touchdown. That could possibly happen in this game. So maybe a guy like, what's that guy's name? Callaway from the Browns. He scored a long bomb on Sunday. If that happens again, he could possibly be a guy you consider in your captain. I know he's pretty cheap. Njoku, another guy. Like if you get a guy, a receiver or a tight end that scores like 2 touchdowns, they could easily be the way to go in your captain spot. But I think it makes the most sense to play either Taylor or Landry. Those are 2 guys I love here. I won't put them in the captain. We'll talk about roster construction in a second, how we can construct our lineups. But I love Taylor and Landry, just that stack. Landry's a great play here. The dude just gets so many targets. He's questionable for this game, but I believe he's expected to play. No concern there. Landry should be ready to go, should be ready to see plenty of targets. He's seen 22 targets through 2 games so far this year. I'm expecting he gets to over 30 targets for the season. I could easily see Landry getting 8 to 10 targets here. And pairing him with Taylor I think makes a lot of sense. You can run it back with like Quincy Enunwa. I really like Enunwa from the Jets side. I don't like a ton of Jets in this game, but Enunwa is definitely a guy that I like. He's seen a ton of targets as well through 2 weeks. 21 targets, 18 and 16 DraftKings points. You could play Enunwa in your captain spot, especially in tournaments if you want to do that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that, at least not in many lineups, but in at least 1 or 2, I'll have Enunwa in captain because the guy has shown some upside. He's shown some connection with Sam Darnold. I like Enunwa if you want to run it back. But since we went Taylor and Landry, we're definitely going to need some value. I love the Browns' defense. I think the Browns' defense definitely offers a lot of value here. You could possibly play the Browns' defense in your captain spot because they have a lot of upside here versus Sam Darnold. Darnold, we know, a rookie quarterback, a guy that will still make some mistakes. And the Browns' defense has actually been able to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They've been pretty good so far this year, getting 7 sacks through 2 games. Got 3 interceptions against Pittsburgh week 1. Against Drew Brees, they didn't get any picks, but they were still able to sack him a little bit. Against a young rookie quarterback who's going to be on the road here, I think the Browns defense could possibly score a defensive touchdown. Could easily see them getting double-digit points and could possibly be the way to go at captain, especially since you save a lot of money if you play them in your captain spot. Obviously, I won't be doing that for like the picks, but we'll talk about roster construction in a second. So Tyrod Taylor, Jarvis Landry, and the Browns defense are kind of like three core plays for me that I'm just going to have a ton of exposure to. But we'll go ahead and clear these out, talk about some other plays, and definitely sort of talk about roster construction. So if we were to play like Tyrod Taylor at our captain, obviously that's really expensive. That thins us down in salary. We play Taylor at 16.5 in our captain. That puts us at 6,700 remaining per player. If we still want to pair him with Landry, we could do that. It definitely thins us out even more. We're down to 56.75, so we're probably going to have to look for some value. I think that's how you can go with the Browns defense at 4K as a cheap value option. Terrell Pryor is definitely a value guy I like from the Jets. It is a revenge game for him, so if you want to factor that in. Little revenge game for Terrell Pryor. Did play for the Browns last year, but he's coming off an 8-target game against the Dolphins. Had 4 catches for 84 yards, 12.4 DK points. We know Quincy Enunwa is the guy that Darnold really looks to, but I think Pryor is probably going to see some targets as well. He could be a cheap option you use at 3,800 if you were to plug him in. That gets you up to 7,450 for average of 2 spots. So you could potentially go to Enunwa, and that would leave you 5,100. So maybe you play David Njoku. I think Njoku is a solid option here. You could possibly go to him. That would leave you $500 remaining if you wanted to upgrade a spot. Let's see what you could upgrade. You couldn't upgrade Pryor. The Browns defense, you couldn't upgrade there. Let's see. If you were to upgrade Enunwa, you could take out Enunwa and play Sam Darnold, but I don't have a ton of interest in Darnold on this showdown slate. So this is kind of like a sort of an optimal lineup, I would say. If you were to play like a cash game, I think that would be something you would probably be looking at. But tournaments, we talked about just how crazy these games could be. And just you never know, especially with like these low-scoring games. The defense could wind up being the highest-scoring just overall fantasy play. I'm pretty sure Monday night the Bears defense was the highest-scoring plays. So you could look to the Browns defense, play them in your captain, especially in a tournament that puts you at 6K. Then you could play Taylor, you could play Landry, you could play Nunwa, and still have 6,200 remaining per player for 2 spots. So maybe you could, on the other side, run it back with like a Bilal Powell. That would leave you 4,200. You could play Terrell Pryor if you wanted to do that. You could play Njoku, I believe. Oh no, Njoku's 4,600. So if we wanted to get Njoku in at 4,600, then that would leave us 7,800. You could possibly play Robbie Anderson. I don't think I'd go to Crowell here. I think I'd prefer Bilal Powell over Crowell. It is a revenge game for Crowell as well, though, because he used to play for the Browns. Him and Terrell Pryor both have revenge games. But like I said, I don't know if I love Crowell here. Week 2 against the Dolphins, he only got 12 carries for 35 yards, 2 catches. I just think Bilal Powell is kind of the running back you want to use for the Jets. Don't love him, so you could potentially put Robbie Anderson there. And that's more of like a tournament lineup that you would maybe play in this big $250K contest to first, $1 million contest, whatever. This could be something you look at for tournaments. Something I also like to do for these big tournaments is leave some salary on the table. So a lot of people obviously are going to use all their salary. So maybe you take out someone like a Nunwa and maybe play like Bilal Powell. And if Powell outscores Nunwa, then that could be a way to go. You leave 1,600 on the table. You have a contrarian lineup that probably not many people are going to have, if anybody's going to have. I love doing that in tournaments because obviously if you're going for first place in these big tournaments, you don't want to tie with thousands of other people. You want to win first, and you want it to be all to yourself, I guess. So you're going to want to have sort of a contrarian lineup. That could be something you look to for contrarian. But for like a cash game, an optimal lineup, if you're trying to just a min cash, if you play in this $10 tournament and you're just trying to win $20, then you probably want to play Taylor in your captain, pair him with Landry, play like the Browns defense, Terrell Pryor, Njoku. Those are some value plays you could look to for cheap options. You can always look to the kickers, especially in cash games if you're playing cash. I don't know if I would use kickers in tournaments, especially not 2 of them, just because kickers have limited upside. But they do make some sense as salary savers, especially in cash games. Rashard Higgins, another guy you could potentially use as a cheap option, 4,800. He saw some targets week 2, got 7 targets week 2 against the Saints. I think Callaway is still like the guy you want to use in tournaments because of his big playability. But Higgins, as more of a safer option that's probably going to get more targets, you could look to him. But I think that's really it for the showdown slate, guys. I think that's it for the video. Taylor, Landry, Browns D, those are kind of the three core plays for me that I'm just going to have a lot of exposure to. But as I showed you, sort of mix and match in tournaments. Play some different guys in your captain. Play like maybe a Nunwa in your captain. Play the Browns D in your captain in these big field tournaments. Just try and get a little contrarian. That's how you win these things. But yeah, good luck on this showdown slate, guys. If you missed my week 3 video, would really appreciate it if you would check that out. But I think that's pretty much it. Leave a like, subscribe. Would really appreciate it, and good luck on this showdown slate. Peace.